Hello there. All right, it's been a little while. Friday the 12th of April 2024 we're recording this, and I've just watched last night's Apprentice. Usually my favourite programme of the entire series, which is the one where we're whittled down to about, I think, 4 or 5 people. I can't remember the exact number now, and they do the interviews with like the big dogs, like I think is it Carl, the bald bloke, and the older lady with the glasses. And it's always my favourite one because these cocky people, these young cocky people, come in to tell them what they want to do with Alan Sugar's money and their business ideas and all that. And over the years, these people have been really harsh on them, the big dogs. Is it Carl? I can't remember his name. Is it Carl? Claude. That's it, Claude. That's his name, Claude. And they're usually really harsh on them. I think one year, one girl ended up crying, which for the television audience is very funny. I like anything like that. It's a bit cruel, but there you go. It is a TV programme. Remember, we're not like real life, is it? Anyway, so I watched it last night, and there he was. Claude was there. The older lady with the glasses, who I really quite like. I think she's a lot older than we think, right? If you watch back on it, her face doesn't give the game away. It's her arms. I reckon she's got to be at least 70, somewhere between 70 and 73 years old. Not that that's a problem. I'm 61 myself, but she does look a lot older when the camera pulls back. Perhaps I might send her a little message perhaps next time. Just keep the camera on the face. We've clearly had some work done to it, although it's worked for her. As you know, it doesn't always work. You remember, what's her name? Someone's mum, boxer bloke. Not a boxer bloke, The bloke who did Rocky, what's his name? Sylvester Stallone. Remember his mum, the big lips and all this? Blimey, hope he doesn't watch this. Might come around and kick the hell out of me. So off they went to do their interviews. A bloke called Trey, who I quite liked him. I thought he was going to go well. But they did these interviews, and they were a bit wishy-washy, to be honest. There was nothing. It was definitely different than it has been all the other years. They just weren't very harsh on these cocky business type people. And I was left quite disappointed, to be honest. I expected one of them at least to be crying their eyes out, but they weren't. Very, very, very disappointed. Did you find that? Did you watch The Apprentice as a matter of interest? And did you notice that? They were just a little bit too, we don't want to be too harsh unless we upset them a little bit, which is typical BBC now, to be honest. A far shadow of what it used to be, don't you think? Anyway, so that was that. And then when it came to getting rid of one of them, Alan Sugar, who I have great time for, I think is a great bloke, to have built all that up from nothing. I think it's fantastic, and I've never had a problem. Sometimes his jokes are a little bit flat, but that's okay. At the end of it, there was this bloke who wanted to get into medical scrubs, right? He is a qualified dentist and has a very successful dental business running, okay? Hope that's not too windy for you, by the way. Catching the wind on the sound there. All right, so he's got one. Now, he wanted to get into the scrubs business, but doing the interviews, he changed his mind because all the people say, you're going the wrong way here. You're really good at running this dental business. Why don't you expand that? And he had 12 hours to think about it before the interview with Alan Sugar. Eventually, he went into the office and he'd changed his mind. So Alan Sugar says, what are you going to do with my money? He said, I'm going to open a second dental surgery. And so it went on. And then Alan Sugar says, because remember, I just told you, he's already got one very successful dental surgery. That works. He's making a lot of money from it. And Alan Sugar said, can I just confirm, with my money, I'm going to be investing in the whole business and not just the new one? And I thought to myself, Well, that's a bit greedy, isn't it? The bloke has already grafted to get this first dental surgery up and running, making lots of money, so on. So surely that's his. The money invested would have gone into opening another one. Okay, fair enough. Sorry about the dogs. They're not mine, don't worry. But no, Alan Sugar wanted the whole thing. And it was a 50-50 partnership, but he wanted to be in on the whole thing. And I'm quite pleased, really, because the dentist bloke, sorry, I can't remember his name now. He had lovely teeth, incidentally. Surprise, surprise. Young bloke, good looking, bit of a beard going on. About 32 years old, I would imagine. He was. And the bloke says, no, it's just the new one. At which point Alan Sugar says, oh, well, I'm going to have to rethink that. And he ended up firing him because of that, because Alan Sugar thought he was going to buy in to this already successful business, which to be honest, I think that's taken a piss a little bit. The bloke has already got that. He's investing in the new place. So that would be me like saying, okay, well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you half my house for your money. I just, and I think he did the right thing. He said, no, you can only have this, at which point Alan Sugar said, okay, goodbye. I'm glad he turned down Alan Sugar offer for that, because I thought that was just a little bit greedy on Alan Sugar's point. Like I say, I've always liked the bloke, right up to last night when he asked for the part of the whole business. Don't know if you saw that at all, but if you've got any comments, as always, just put them down the bottom there, and that's it, all right? Another programme I'd just like to recommend to you, I've just discovered on Netflix, and it's called The Job Lot, okay? The Job Lot, and it's set in a job centre, and it's just hilarious. There's one woman in there who's just awful. You'd never want to work with her or for her. Can't think of her name, but she sits at this desk. Turns out all the other staff kind of pitter-patter about her because she was sacked at one point, and then she took them to a tribunal and got her job back. So even the manager kind of pitter-patters around her a little bit like that, right? Anyway, so this bloke goes in to look for a job, and he sits down in front of this awful woman, and she says, can I help you? And the bloke says, yeah, I've just come to look for a job. Okay, what's your name? So she starts typing away. Oh, it's my postman. Thank you very much, mate. Just chuck it on the floor there. Thank you, mate. Lovely. Cheers, mate. Sorry. Where was I now? Oh, yes. So this bloke asks for... Oh, do you want me? No, okay. This bloke asks for a job, and she types his name. What's your name? What's your address? Okay, you need to make an appointment. And the bloke says, well, I'm sitting here now. Yeah, but you've got to make an appointment. Okay, well, can I make an appointment now? No, you've got to do it on the phone. And he's like, oh, well... Okay, so he gets his mobile phone out, right? Have you got the number? So she gives him the number. Types in the number, and the phone starts ringing, and guess whose phone starts ringing? Her on the desk. At which point she answers, hello, job centre. And he looks at her in complete disbelief here, right? Oh, it's me. What's your name, please? It's me. And he's looking straight at her. Name. So she gives his name. He gives his name. She types it all in again, starts writing the address. How can I help? Da, 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 da. At which point she then says to him, I'm sorry, you can't use a mobile phone in here. And he's like, what do you mean? You can't use a mobile phone in here, sir. So he goes outside, at which point she hangs up. And it's like that. It's very, very funny indeed. I think I'm on the 3rd episode now, which involves a bloke from the army coming in and trying to sell the army to people. Very, very funny. So that's called the Job Lot. And that's available on Netflix. I think there's about 3 or 4 series on there at the moment. By the way, we're outside. You may have noticed. I thought I'd come outside and do a little bit of recording, as it's really nice at the moment. I'm right outside my front house, actually. I'm looking up there. Actually, you want to have a look at this? And as you can see, I've got a little bit of a problem with things growing out of my gutter at the moment. Since I come off the scooter and dislocated my shoulder just before Christmas, I'm very wary. I really don't want to go up a ladder anymore. I usually would have done all that myself, but I think I'm going to have to get a window cleaner or something. Same with the windows as well. I did them all myself until just before Christmas, and I'm very wary of falling off a ladder now. Although it wasn't a ladder I fell off, as you well know. It was a scooter, so I guess I'm going to have to get someone to do that. Plants. Has anyone else got plants growing out of their gutter? Never mind, anyway. Just in case you're wondering, the shoulder is coming along quite well now. Let's give you an example of how well I can lift it. It used to be here, you know, here at first. I am right up here now, okay? That's on the outside, okay? And directly in front of me, again, I can fairly high. But my shoulder is coming up to sort of do that. Whereas if I do it with this one, look, the shoulder doesn't come up. This one, the shoulder now comes up. I don't know if that's just how it is or one of those things, but I'm much better in my head about it all now. I can do lots of things I couldn't do. For example, drive. I mean, when I first sat in the car, I couldn't get the hand onto the, it wouldn't come up to the steering wheel. Now, it quite happily sits up there on top and it can go left and right, because you don't want to be, you know, it's all very well saying, you know, oh, I've got something wrong with my arm, I'll be careful in the car. You never know. You never know when you've got to suddenly turn that steering wheel round because a child has run out or something like that. So you really can't drive like that, but it's perfectly all right now, as you can see. I can move the steering wheel and move it up and down so much better. And I know some of you like to have sent kind messages on that subject, so thank you very much for those. All right, that's it for our little show. Looking forward to a holiday, actually, in a couple of weeks' time. I'm going to Rome in Italy. It's a surprise for my mate's birthday. I'm taking him there, so I'm much looking forward to that. Anyway, you look after yourselves, and if you want to leave a comment, feel free to do so, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.